Hello Cancer friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Cancer February 2022 Astrology Must-Knows Horoscope Forecast. Click on the little More button, the little arrow in the bottom right of the video screen, to reveal all the notes with links to see more about readings, my books, my free courses, other free goodies including how you can run a free birth chart, and how you can learn astrology with me. So that's all in the notes underneath the video. This is for you if Cancer is your sun sign or your moon sign or your rising sign or any other Cancer placements you watch for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Astrology is complex and we have lots of layers that go into our being, and we're so much more than just our sun sign. That's one of my missions, is to help you all see that and to use all of the different layers of your being for your highest expression. So if you are a very late degree Cancer person, so we'll say July 15th through the rest of the sign, around the days around there through the rest of the sign, or 23 degrees or so through the rest of the sign, I also recommend that you watch my Leo report, because you very late cuspy people have a more complex read and you'll benefit from both readings. Okay, so let's get into February. February must know. February is a month that is very free from a lot of the mischief that we have been having going on for a long time. We're not in eclipse season. We're not in the big, Saturn-Uranus clash time where we're stepping out of the retrograde energies, although we do have quite a bit for part of the month. But it's just sort of a chill month. We also have a lot less, or a lot fewer, actual aspects, connections with planets. We have a lot fewer of them this month than we have had for a while, or than we usually have. So just the activity in the stars is just a little bit less. Doesn't mean that anything can happen at any time to any person, because things can come in and connect with our personal charts in ways that, defy the general astrology. But this is a much more just sort of having less going on month, and I am grateful for that, and I think that you will be as well, because any chance we have to not be as overstimulated is very helpful. So let's see the list we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this Capricorn Spree, why we have a Capricorn Spree, and how it is affecting Cancer people. As you probably know, if you've been listening to my work or other astrology, Capricorn opposes Cancer. So this is a special note, this extended energy of multiple planets in Capricorn. So we'll talk about that. We also have a lot of energy in Aquarius, including a new moon, so we'll look at that as well. We've got a full moon in Leo, and we'll look at that as well. And then we've got something really fun to talk about that has to do with the transiting North Node. The North Node has to do with your highest expression in this lifetime, and it's making a really favorable aspect for Cancer people, especially some of you, which are more highlighted at this time, which we'll talk about. And then we've got Jupiter trine going on, which is very exciting. And again, this is cool for all Cancer placements, but some of you are in the good hot seat right now, and we'll bring up who that is and talk about when the rest of you will get your goodies. And then we're going to go into the calendar of between now and April. So you'll get a sneak peek into March and April, and understand the energies of February better by seeing what's flanked on either side. I've got a lot of great visuals. They're not charts, but they're things that I wrote down where you can kind of understand the weaving energies of all of the things that we have going on at the time. And then we've got this beautiful, long-awaited Jupiter-Uranus aspect that is super favorable. And we haven't really had a lot of outer planet activity that's been really sweet. Most of it has been chaotic and stressful. So we're going to celebrate this. And this is amazing for everyone in the zodiac, but it's especially amazing for water and earth signs. So those of you in the water earth sign zone, you can get extra blessings from this. And those of you who are closer to certain degrees, which we'll get into after, you have even more of a chance for blessings. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. Let's start right from the beginning. Capricorn Spree, why are we having it and what does it mean? Usually by February, we're not having a lot of Cap energy because the sun has gone in and out of Capricorn from the end of December to the end of January. And if something else is moving along there, it usually passes along quickly. But now, because Mercury was partly retrograde into Capricorn, Venus was retrograde in Capricorn, just very newly direct here at the beginning of February, and now Mars is starting to go into Capricorn for the first time in over 2 years. All of these three planets are making these opposition energies to your placement, and this carries a lot of significance because this is a very active, dynamic, energy. So what are some of the things it means? First must know is that it's bringing a sustained focus on money, finances, father figure relationships, things with authority, boss, jobs, employments. If you're retired, it's like your place out in the world or your money matters, relationships with your father, things like that. So that is going on. You might have a lot of opportunities there. You might have some bumps, but you might have some chances to get through the conflict to get to the good side. All right. And with these 180-degree angles, this also often means you're being pulled in two different directions. So probably home and work are extra busy December, January, February into March. And you're really like, your work needs energy, but your home needs energy, and your inner world needs energy, but your outer world needs energy. And you're really what I call getting to access your superhero self, because nothing brings us to our superhuman nature, superhero nature, than necessity, right? That's how a parent can lift a car off of a kid, right? It's that necessity in that moment. And so this necessity of keeping a lot of balls in the air and getting a lot of things straight is really brewing, which is very exciting because it's going to continue to help your self-esteem develop, for you to see that you're so much more capable than you've given yourself credit for. Now, some of the Cancer people who have a lot of Leo influence or some other influences of more fire signs, you might find that you've always been super confident, and that's amazing. But the true Cancerian energies tend to be very depreciating, and it's not really an acceptance of the awesomeness of the gifts that you have, even though people probably tell you. It doesn't feel like it's not easy for you to take compliments or to be really sure about the things that are great about you sometimes, because you're not thinking about that. You're not focusing on how great you are. You're focusing on other things, emotions, your emotions, other people's emotions, taking care of people, things like that. So this sustained transit of the Capricorn energies, and this has been going on for a long time. You'll notice this has been building for years, actually, because when we had Saturn move through Capricorn, we had Jupiter move through Capricorn. Those were outer planets that were kind of working on this in the backdrop. Now those have passed, but now you've got this sustained amount of short-term energy here over the course of these months, and it's mopping up some places where you're, again, just practicing setting boundaries with people and then feeling excited because you're succeeding, or seeing where you can do better and having a plan on how you're going to do that. This energy is very much about strategy and planning and cooperation with others, and focus on your relationships and key long-term relationships coming in, and you really, just finding your center through your self-esteem that comes from seeing how capable you are as you rise to meet the needs that show up in your life at this time. So it's very exciting. And you're very likely to pull in a lot of helpers or a lot of key relationships. Some people were people you knew already, but they're taking on more of an importance in your life. And some people might be brand new to you. But your team of helpers is starting to get put together, in your team of friends. And if you're trying to build a business, your work associates or your clients, all of that is in a state of beautiful building. Another must know is that we've got Aquarius placements. This is also putting more energy towards your relationships and just expanding them. And this is a little bit of an awkward angle for you. All right. So what you're kind of hearing me say is we've got two sets of things that are not in like my favorite angle, which is like a trine or like, a 60-degree angle. But you don't have to fear that. You don't have to think, oh, February is going to be bad because of that. It's not true. And actually, something important I must know about this month is that we have more sweet aspects than salty ones. We don't have as many aspects, period. Like I said, it's less busy astrologically. But of the ones that could be like, wow, they could be challenging maybe, a lot of those are very neutral. They're not just like for sure challenging. They're like, they could go either way. So your perspective can change a lot of how you experience. And that's true always, but this month is very, very poignant. And so you can think about that as we're talking about. You've got pressure angles, But a pressure angle doesn't have to be bad, because a pressure angle can make you super productive, and it could mean that you've got things going on that are really exciting for you in your family, in your close relationships, in your work, in your money. Those areas look very, very busy. The pressure's on, but it doesn't have to be bad. All right, now let's talk about, so one date to note here is the days around February 1st, because the new moon is at 12 degrees of Aquarius, and all of you can feel a little, either reality check or something amazing gelling that you've been trying to get into place for a while. But those of you who are July 1st or 2nd, the last couple of days of June, the first few days of July, you're going to feel that the most, and the closer you are to 12 degrees. So we'll say back to 7 degrees, up to 17 degrees, the closer to 12 degrees, the more you'll feel that new moon and that Saturnian tilt to it, since it will be conjunct there. Okay, so now let's talk about the full moon in Leo. This is very likely going to bring up money topics of interest. This can bring drama, for better or worse. You can have an amazing windfall of money come in, or you can have your money area tested, or a little scare that could turn out to be okay. Or just you buy something fabulous that you've been wanting, and something goes on in that area around this full moon, and this is the middle of the month. So the days leading up to February 16th, the days after February 16th, everyone can feel this, but those of you who are the later degree placements, so the same ones we talked about, who I suggested you also listen to the Leo report, like the July 15th to the rest of the sign, or 23 degrees to the rest of the sign, you all will feel this full moon even more from the way that it's making an angle to your Cancer placement. Okay, so now let's talk about the aspect with the transiting node. So the North Node and the South Node are the points in the chart that have to do with our highest expression in this lifetime, our Dharma, and our karma, which is what we came here to work off and heal, and the belief systems that we have, and how we, see the world, and in what ways that is already helping us. Like, you just come in seeing things a certain way, and things are flowing in a certain way. So your good karma and your challenging karma. But because Taurus makes a nice angle to Cancer, and now we're in a couple of year period where the nodes, which reflect with the eclipses, the eclipse cycle is in Taurus and Scorpio, and the eclipse cycle is always where the nodes are. Okay, they match because they're on the ecliptic. So everyone in the Cancer spectrum has this extra energy of getting things on track, and this is still following the trend that I talked about before in the earthly domain. So you taking your emotions and making them productive, you stepping out of being debilitated by your sensitivities, and instead see your sensitivity as a strength and start turning it around into that. And so this is going to be true for all of you, but there's this extra special set of kisses for the very late degree people. Okay, so we'll say like the almost Leo people, like July 18 through the rest of the sign, you really have some extra benefits coming there from that. All right, so now let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter is in Pisces for a short time from the end of December through early May. This is fabulous for Cancer because Jupiter is the great benefic. It's the helper, the supporter, the bringer of optimism, the bringer of luck. And when Jupiter is in a water sign, it's making the most favorable angle in all of astrology, the trine, for you. So that often brings Jupiter kisses. Okay, so Jupiter wants to expand a lot of things in your life. And every Cancer can have any Jupiter-related thing come in at any time during this transit. But those of you who are between 7 and 13 degrees are going to get your extra special Jupiter kiss. All right, so that's going to be like, there seems to be a lot of focus here on the end of June people, early July people. You've got a lot going on, and one of those things is your Jupiter kiss. So look out for that. Hopefully something wonderfully expansive will occur. Now, one more set of kisses, and then we're going to go into the calendar. Jupiter is making this beautiful aspect with the planet Uranus. The planet of surprises is getting together with the planet of luck and optimism. And that's happening in water and earth signs. So all the water and earth signs get to have extra yummies from this because this can connect into your placement. So everyone in the zodiac gets the goodies. We're going to go into a lot of detail about what they are because it's rare that we have outer planet connections, and especially when it's good, we want to know everything we can about this. So I have a lot of details later. And everyone can get the goodies. Everyone in the zodiac, all the Cancers. But if you are near 11 degrees, we'll put it in 5 degrees in either direction, 6 degrees to 16 degrees, the closer to 11, the more of the goodie. So again, that is the end of June, the first week of July, you're getting extra kisses there. Okay, so now let's look at that beautiful calendar so you can understand how to align your energies with pushing out in the world and when to hold back and when to push out. We only have 2 big outflowing, tide going out chunks of time in 2022 because at the end of 2022 we have Mars retrograde, and that would have taken up our last window there that would have been free for big launches. So you really want to know when the tides are coming in, when they're going out, and I have this beautiful calendar that's going to show you all of those details and show you what to align where.
Okay, so to better understand the energies of February and how to use them, it will be very helpful to understand the energies that are surrounding February and running our compare and contrast. And plus you get a sneak peek into the whole full first quarter of 2022. So we're going to check this out. I'll give you details about this as it relates to the energies of retrograde and direct, and then we'll hit our retrograde direct list so that you can see what types of activities to align in what location on our calendar here. Okay, so here we are in February. Now, just to give a little backdrop, January we had Mercury go retrograde on January 14th. That shadow period had started in the last couple of days of December. So essentially all of January is full of retrograde energy. All right, Mercury was retrograde, Venus was retrograde, didn't go direct till the end of the month. Now, we still are having a carryover of that energy into February because even though Mercury is direct right here at the beginning, it doesn't clear out of its post-shadow period until the 24th. This is what I mean about this hybrid energy, because the energy after the 24th is more in the direct energy, and then that just steamrolls and gets stronger on the 2nd of March when the energies become more completely clear, and we open into our first open launch period and our first of only 2 open launch periods of the whole year. Now we'll come back to this calendar, but I want to talk a little bit about the difference between the retrograde and direct energies to help you understand. January and for most of February, we've been in Retroville, okay? So this is a time when things are going inwards and backwards. The tides are coming in. If you're trying to put something out onto the water, into the world, the tides are going to just roll it right back in. So it's better to just deal with what comes up. I always like to say, be the spider and eat the food that comes to you instead of trying to go out and find a bunch of food or, weave a bunch of webs and push and, make things happen. This is a time that although the energies are strong with Capricorn energy in January and February, which is good for getting stuff done, it's still better for dealing with the things you have to deal with that have piled up, that, clearing out the clutter, doing your taxes, researching things for the future, wrapping up loose ends. You'll have a lot of focus towards tedious tasks, but that doesn't mean you should be trying to push them out very far. You just kind of deal with them as they come up. It can lend itself to a little confusion because with the retrogrades, things get called into question. So for most of February, we still have some things possibly being called into question, especially that first half. And it's a time really to just honor the flow. If you're trying to do something and it's not working, don't force it, and you'll have a much happier relationship with the retrogrades. So it's a time to be in the moment and just, leave room for last minute magic. But basically leave yourself unscheduled as possible in your circumstance to leave room for this last minute magic. Okay, so just to go back now, this retro that we talked about, this is all of January and pretty much the first half of February, with it starting to wane after the second half of February as we get towards February 24th. But then once we get into February 24th and being triumphantly reiterated as we get to March 2nd, and then very strong from March 2nd through April 27th is the big open time for launches. So let's look at what that means. So that is the direct energy. Direct in this instance is talking about no personal planets being retrograde. Personal planets, Venus, Mercury, Mars are the personal planets that go retrograde. And we have another retrograde year here because we've got Mars retrograde towards the end of the year. So we've only got another time, part of June, all of July, part of August, that will be completely free from personal planet retrogrades. And of those two windows, this window, this March 2nd through April 27th window is even more strong for launches than that June through August one, because we've got all these Aries energies that will be coming up in March. And that is really good for bursting things out into the world. So here's where you want to do your big launches, your big life dream decisions, get your book out, engagements, weddings, marriages. Spring is, or fall for you all down under, is a lovely time for weddings. And this is a really fantastic time in the stars. Agreements, commitments, investments, moves, brand new projects, having clarity, future planning, and to push, initiate, and even force sometimes. If you have to push through something within yourself, it's much easier to push things out into the world when the tides are going out, as they will be towards the end of February. Okay, so once we get around Valentine's Day, February 14th, things are starting to look pretty clear. We still have another 10 days of the haze until we get it completely clear. And then we still have a little lingering energy of Venus, Venus, of course, ruling love, beauty, money. I went into those energies at, fully in the November, December, January horoscopes, and you can search for Botticelli Venus retrograde to understand that more. But that's very, very important to understand. Okay, so while we've got our calendar here, let's just hit a couple of more points. Eclipse season is going to start mid-March because it starts around 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse, which in this case actually is April 30th. And then there's one in May as well. These are the Taurus Scorpio eclipses. And so those types of, big changes, the anxiety, the butterflies, the feeling like your finger's stuck in a socket, we've got a break here in February from that. Because even though we can see eclipse news or eclipse related news come in at any time during the years of the eclipse cycle, they tend to heat up in the 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipse. So this February time is really nice in that way, that we are free of the heat of eclipse season. And actually February is one of the most non-eventful astrological months of the whole year. We've, a lot of times we've got a lot of things going on. In February, we have a little bit less. So it's just kind of, it's a hybrid in the way that it's, retrograde for part and direct for part. But we don't have as many planets clashing. We don't have any of the big negative planet clashes that we've been having. And actually we have a super positive one, which we're going to talk about more after this. But I just want to show you the dates on the calendar here. Mid-January through mid-March, this Jupiter sextile Uranus aspect. Now, we've been getting shellacked by outer planets connecting in a difficult way. When outer planets come together, it's very powerful and have very strong lasting effects for everybody, and the aspects usually last for a long time because those planets are slower moving. So we only have one pass of this Jupiter-Uranus beautiful kiss, and the strongest part of it will be here February 17th through the 21st. But the whole month before and after, the energies are very strong. So let's talk about what the blessings and potential positive effects of the Jupiter-Uranus connections will be. Okay, let's drill down into the exciting transit of Jupiter sextile Uranus. As we've been talking about, we have been having a lot of difficulties with the outer planets, these slower moving planets that once they come into a configuration, they stay in it for a while. Except that has been very heavy because the configurations that have been happening over the last couple of years have been consistently difficult. But now we have a beautiful period where we've got the outer planets, two of them, Jupiter and Uranus, Jupiter in Pisces and Uranus in Taurus, coming together in this fabulous combination. So we're going to talk about some things that go on as positive potentials. But let's first look at what we're looking at here. So here is the planet Uranus. And here is Jupiter. Jupiter's in Pisces. This meeting is actually going to occur at 11 degrees. Okay, so once Jupiter moves to the 11 degree of Pisces position, it will lock in place into a sextile, which is a 60-degree angle. If you've been listening to my work for a while, you know that a 60-degree angle is the opportunity angle. It's the ingredients on a counter angle where we're presented with a bunch of different options to make beautiful meals in our lives. That's a figurative and possibly literal as well. But we have to do something with it. So this is a time where you have to really look for, sometimes it will be apparent, but you have to look for and do something with the potentials, and then you can activate this expansion of Jupiter, the intuition and artistic connectedness to all things of Pisces, the emotional high EQ, and this Uranus, the innovation and surprises and sudden insights and sudden events in this grounded energy of Taurus, meaning the very unstable energy of Uranus is able to be much more manifested into form, which is a hard thing to do with Uranus. It's very fleeting. So the combination of the solidness of the earth placement, the really just innovative and futuristic energies of Uranus combined with this beautiful, emotional, intuitive, expansive energy. So anything that combines all of those energies, there will be lots of opportunities. Now, the dates that are most active are February 17th through the 21st. This is the big day when the official degree and minute line up, but they're still matching at 11 degrees through this time, from February 17th to February 21st. But from all of mid-January, and sensitive people could feel it a little sooner, even beginning of January, possibly even sooner, but certainly mid-January through mid-March. And again, sensitive people, if you're looking out, you might see those effects kind of drizzling in later. But we've definitely got a 2-month period where this energy is very strong and very usable. So we could discover the power of rest and quiet revealing itself in wonderful ways through sudden insights, problem solving, awarenesses of the past, dips into the future. In this particular configuration, daring to do something different can yield very positive results. Now, I'm not talking about, and here we can kind of talk about this, indulging in a crazy idea can work out big time. We're not talking about super reckless, very dangerous things necessarily, unless intuitively there's something very specific in that for you. But in general, this is something with like a calculated risk. That Taurus energy with the Uranus really likes that calculated risk, but just having the daringness to do something different. And that's very subjective. So you doing something different, can feel like a big deal to you, this thing you're going to do. But someone else might not think twice about doing that particular thing. So it's a relative experience, but it could work out really well. Taking a step away from an issue or a pattern could reveal sudden life-changing insights and outcomes. So that's this, Jupiter in Pisces, where we're expanding that quiet space. I like to call it the space of private personal pursuits. And then anything artistic in nature, finding your voice with your art, stepping into art for the first time, expanding the artistic endeavors you have, artistic and endeavors can take on more special significance at this time. And any psychological or other inner work can actually expand even further and include sudden healings of addictions, fear, or anxiety. Now, just to, be very raw here, as humans, we're probably never going to be completely free of fear, right? But the patterns and the addictive pattern of feeling when we have to be afraid, we could have some major impact here, including perfect practitioners that come in, modalities that come in that can be helpful, or our sudden and clear commitment to use tools to help us to calm down when we get anxious. Tools like EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique. There are so many tools you can look for, tools to clear fear, tools, self-help for anxiety. And of course, if it's very extreme and you need help, then this might be a time where you can find someone that can really help you. And innovation and intuition commingling in powerful ways. So this is just a really magical time full of promise, with that little note, though, the little footnote that says, but hey, it's a sextile, so you might actually have to do something with those possibilities that are surrounding you to activate their full glory. Okay, so I've given you lots to work with to help you make the most of the energies this month and to help you understand the energetic patterns at work and play. And if you'd like more resources, I've got all of these here. You can additionally go to the little more button, the little arrow underneath the bottom right of the video. Click on that and all of the links that I'm giving you here will be clickable, right? So if you're looking for reading options, including a beautiful, very detailed 45-minute audio of your birth chart for $33 from my brilliant husband, you can find that at anniebclarity.com. You can go to anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. This is where you can access running a free birth chart. This is where you access my 28-day in-depth virtual coaching program called Shine for free. This is also where you'll find tons of blogs, and you get lots of other perks for being on my newsletter list. If you're looking for written horoscopes by me, always up a month early, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. If you haven't seen this site, go to it. It is so beautiful. We've got, me and my team have lots of amazing astrology-inspired blogs and healthy living blogs. We've got hypnosis for all the signs. We've got healing frequencies for all the signs. I've got the written horoscopes that I write. We have yoga for all the signs. So it's just a very beautiful, comprehensive site. If you're looking for free courses on how to manifest money and wellness, you can go to lumlife.com, my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUMLIFE. You can also find my astrology education courses here, including my behemoth of a master course called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, which you can fully utilize even if you don't want to be a professional astrologer, but it certainly will get you up to the level where you could be and show you how to make your business a success. And payment plans are available there too. Now, I've also got 2 books out and more on the way. Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. You will find this on the bookshelves in all major booksellers, including all the Books A Million, all the Barnes & Nobles. It's right there on the shelf. Plus, you can get it on Amazon and through any independent bookseller. And you can find Radical Prayer on Amazon, and you can order it anywhere as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.